also mentioned there are a lot of exciting roles opening up for young journalists in particular. Could you tell me a little bit more about what those are?
Yeah, so one example is the data scientists that I mentioned. So even though it requires skills that journalists usually don't learn during the training, it still is something that is way easier to learn and to understand than really learning to be a coder, which everyone demanded just a couple of years ago. And I think that's really, really tough. Like, it costs several years of really hard work to become a good coder. So now there are several fields where it is more about understanding what's happening, understanding what the machine is doing, but not necessarily require you to write code. And also we see tools like IFTTT and a lot of bots that you can just tap into without necessarily being a coder, and use it in your newsroom for your work and your processes in a way that is totally customized, but yeah, it's just out there and you can just use it if you can code or not. So and the big opportunity for young journalists, I think, is that they already grew up with like all those tools. They grew up in a digital environment and they're basically born with a deep understanding of how this is working, whereas older journalists, I think, still have a hard time like really understanding the logic behind it. So I think that's a big advantage for young journalists. It just comes natural to them.
And in general, what do you think journalists can do to stay ahead of sort of the digital technological wave in general?
So for once, I think it's really important to follow up the latest trends, especially in Silicon Valley. So a lot of the stuff that's happening outside of journalism will sweep into journalism as soon as it makes sense. So I think that's one tip. And then just like network, use conferences like this to talk to people who can code, who are far ahead in a specific field, and just talk to them and get the information out of them.